All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing somewhat of a comparison type of video and giving you guys my thoughts on which I think is the best Marvel Legends Sentinel figure. Alright dudes, so I thought this would be a fun video to go ahead and do with you guys after the release a couple of months ago now of the biggest Marvel Legends figure ever made, the new Haslab Sentinel figure. So if you guys don't know, I have been a collector of Marvel Legends since the series started. Happy to see they're going to be doing I think a 20th anniversary for the first wave of Marvel Legends, which is going to be really cool. So this was one of my most anticipated figure releases ever with the Haslab Sentinel figure. And so we'll take a look at this guy and compare it to the others, but we'll kind of save him, I think, for last, in that he's the most difficult to sort of deal with of any of the figures. So why don't we start with the first Marvel Legends Sentinel release, and that is of the original Toybiz Marvel Legends Sentinel figure. So this guy is okay. So this is one of my all-time favorite action figures ever made. I remember when this thing first came out, it absolutely blew my brain out my ears. I thought it was so cool. The idea of being able to, you know, with Galactus 2 as well in the first couple of waves, but go out and buy the figures that you're going to buy anyway, and then be able to take apart from each figure and build a figure with it. So the Build-A-Figure Toybiz Sentinel. So this, for a long time, was probably one of my favorite action figures. Definitely like top 5, top 10. I actually went a little crazy with these, and I got, I think I have 9 of them now. So that's quite a bit to have at this point, kind of for a Sentinel army, which is really sweet. But, you know, got most of these back in the day for $70, which was an incredible deal when you're, you know, nowadays. They've definitely gone up in value, and they're really, really amazing. So these are pretty good sized figures to compare to. I got a Wolverine here. They're pretty big, right? You know, they're not that small. Now, granted, he is crouching, right, looking up kind of thing. So it's always worked. I never like looked at it and thought, oh, that Sentinel figure is too small or something, or he should be bigger, right? Like I know some of those guys, like maybe when the Marvel Universe figures were kind of pretty popular, people were like, well, the Sentinels fit better with the Marvel Universe figures because they're like, you know, 3 3/4 inch, so it fits better. It's better in scale. So it's like, okay, well, Hasbro's giving you an answer for that now, right? With this ridiculous thing, which we'll get to. So the paint detailing on this, the style of it, and the tentacles, man. Oh, you gotta have your tentacles, man. How else are the Sentinels going to grab X-Men? What are they going to do? They're going to use their hands each time? Although that kind of works too. But so articulated fingers, everything like that. And just an incredible one. So one of my all-time favorite figures ever here. Now, there was also the Marvel, speaking of Marvel Universe, there was the Marvel Universe release Sentinel, which has kind of had a few versions and been re-released in the X-Men Days of Future Past. So here we have the X-Men Days of Future Past Sentinel, which it is really cool, I have to admit. The colors are, you know, different, and you can get, there's a couple different versions of this one with different variations. I actually have a few of them, but we'll just use this one for now because this one is probably the best. And he has a sound chip and everything, which is pretty cool. And this one's actually loud. The Marvel Universe sound chips were not as loud.
Alpha level mutant detected. Halt mutant. Sentinel power core breached.
So it's pretty cool, but a few knocks against it versus the Toybiz for me. With this one, you know, the hands, you can only do like the grabbing pose with it. They don't have finger articulation like the Toybiz did, and no tentacles. So that's the thing, like when you get a bunch of these together as an army and you put them all with their tentacles kind of grabbing X-Men or wrapping around X-Men, and you can kind of have them, some of them hanging in the air and stuff like that with the Toybiz ones. For me, I always preferred this one to this one. Now, it is cool, but it does... This one, the Days of Future Past one, looks more like a toy. You know, if you see it, you think to yourself, okay, yeah, it's like, you know, it's a toy, right? This one, yeah, it's a toy as well, but I think he's very statue-esque. Like, if you see them together, a few of these versus this does look like a toy compared to this. So for me, right away, this was always my favorite Sentinel figure. Even though these were cool, the different versions were cool, but this one was definitely always my favorite. That is, until the Haslab Sentinel release. Should also say, if you're going to get a Haslab Sentinel, unless you get it secondhand, you know, you're going to be getting these two, the Sentinel Prime or Bastion Sentinel. Right now I've just got the regular head on him. He's, you know, it's okay, but to be honest with you, in the female Sentinel, to be honest with you, we can't really compare these to like the bigger Sentinels because these are like regular figures and the bigger Sentinels are like so much fun because they're just like, you know, imposing and towering and everything like that. So right away, I'm going to pretty much take these out of the conversation. And there is also the Sentinel, which has been released more recently, which is like a more modern kind of take. And I understand that it's kind of, well, it is comic accurate in what it's supposed to represent. I just don't like that design for Sentinel at all. I really think that Build-A-Figure is quite terrible. I never even actually had any interest in getting it. And I'm not a completist, so I skipped that one. I'll take that one out of the conversation pretty much right away as well. Okay, so now to the big guy, the Haslab Sentinel. Right now I got the Master Mold head on it. This thing is really crazy, man. Let's put on the regular Sentinel head, I guess, for comparison purposes here. There we go. So, and the light but no sound chip in this one. So, this is the thing with this one, guys. This one is an incredible release, I have to say. It is, well, first of all, it's more expensive, right? When these first released, if you got your order in on time, you know, you could get them for a decent deal. Already nowadays, we're seeing on eBay, EvilBay, these guys go for like, you know, I've seen 800, 700, 900. When they first hit like over 1,000 for, you know, the pack with everything. And so it was a really good deal when they first hit. Now, I take it they're likely never going to re-release these, so the price point on these is pretty steep. It's pretty high compared to the Toybiz ones. One of these right now, if let's say it's $800, you can get, you know, maybe with shipping or so, you're looking at like probably 3 or 4 of these for the price of one of these. So, you know, is this worth 3 of these? I'm not sure. But certainly in the conversation for X-Men enthusiasts who collect Marvel Legends, if they want to do like a Sentinel army, it's still achievable with the Toybiz Sentinels because their price isn't too crazy. But with these guys, I just feel like based on their price, I don't know if you would be able to army build these just because, well, first of all, their price, but then second of all, the amount of space required. Like, if you look at my shelving unit behind us here, guys, this thing is just out of control. It's absolutely huge to stand on the desk here. It's ridiculous. It's huge. It's awesome, but it's just so, like, crazy. I don't... The thing also that I'm finding with this after getting this too is that you're going to want to keep the box, you know, for these because of the value of how much these are worth. So you're going to want to keep the box, and the box is huge. It takes up a lot of room. So unless you got like a storage unit or something like that where you could put, you know, the boxes for these, I don't think it's practical to army build these. I really don't. Maybe you get, you know, what I like it for mostly is to get one and use it as a master mold with the master mold head, which is really cool. And of course with these you do get the different head choices. So you get the master mold, you get the regular Sentinel head, you get the Sentinel head, which can turn and, you know, is super cool and all that, like some comics would have. And you get the one that Wolverine's been working on a little bit, which is pretty sweet, right? So, and this is cool because, you know, back in the day, people would always take the Toybiz Sentinels and they would take like an X-Acto knife and they would like cut their faces up and stuff, you know, like to make them look more like this. The problem is you can't go back the other way. Once you trash the heads on them, you can't reverse it, right? It's always a battle damage Sentinel if it is. You get the hand. Now, this one is pretty cool here. You guys know I love the tentacles, right? So here's the modern type of tentacle that comes with this guy. This thing is actually bigger than the Toybiz Sentinel. It's actually taller than the Toybiz Sentinel figure is. So these are freaking huge and also super cool. They also fit in the hand better. Some of the Toybiz Sentinels, the tentacles kind of pop out, or some of them don't quite mold. The mold doesn't quite fit exactly perfect on some of them. Now, there are some gripes with these in that people have said that the knees are kind of weak on these. Mine actually, let's see, not really. No, mine's not. This one a little bit, maybe. But, you know, I think it's more the fact that these things are so ridiculously huge and they're worth so much. They're worth like the extent of like 2 Hot Toys or 3 Hot Toys, depending on which ones you're looking at. You know, because of the value, people get nervous kind of having them around, which I understand that. I understand like having it on a shelf, you would be worried that it would fall off a shelf or something and break, which at the price point that this is worth would be a problem, would be a pain. So for me, really the conversation comes down to pretty quickly, is it better than the Toybiz Sentinel? The tentacle just popped out. And that's kind of what I mean. Like the tentacles, some of them fit okay, some of them don't fit as well. And there were some that were like Omega Red ones too, which were similar. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal is with that. But, you know, it's kind of awesome. So this one was kind of always like my favorite, one of my favorite figures ever. But I would have to say that at this point, the Haslab Sentinel has, in my mind anyway, bested the Toybiz one as the best Sentinel figure to get. But you have to kind of figure out a way to make... Look how shiny it is. Really cool, huh? You have to figure out a way to make this work because it is so ridiculously oversized that you have to have room for it. You have to, you know, like... Almost none of my shelving units I have can work with this. So you have a choice. Either you get a specific shelf for it or something and you put it aside from your Marvel Legends or your other collectibles you have, or you put it on a table or something like that, or you put it on the floor. Now, I don't like having figures on the floor. It's one of my pet peeves. It really bothers me. You know, I like to collect and stuff like that, but if I see expensive shit on the floor, for whatever reason, it just bothers me. I don't know. Maybe because of too many basement floods or something. So it's really freaking cool, man. Really, really, really amazing. So I would have to say that I think Hasbro knocked it out of the park with this one. I think that this is an incredible figure. I think if you missed out on the pre-order for them, you know, I do feel sorry for you. It's unfortunate. I think we all kind of knew what was going to happen. They were going to release and then they were going to quadruple, at least double to 3 times in price, right, from what they released at right now, going for about double, but in a few years, probably even more than that, as people want to get one and they're, you know, you can't get one after that, right? So I'm really happy that Hasbro did this. I'm excited for the Galactus as well too, and I do have to say that this is the best. This is the best Sentinel figure for sure. I mean, that's a size, so the feet are basically right there to there, and you know you're looking at that. So the only thing about this, though, like I said, is it's so ridiculously oversized that it almost is like, I wonder if they made it too big because maybe they didn't consider, like, okay, where are people going to put this? What displays would it fit on? And compared to like a Wolverine figure, I mean, it's just like, you know, let's try to put it up here and see if you guys can see. So that's, see what I mean? It's just crazy, the comparison. So definitely happy with this one. Definitely the best Sentinel figure ever made, I think. The Haslab Sentinel, incredible. If you can get one, if you can get your hands on one. Still haven't seen anybody army build these yet, but I'll be interested to see what they look like if anybody has room to get, you know, 3, 4, or 5 of these or something. It would be really crazy to see what that would look like. Kind of amazing. This one's like, you know, if you look at the color and everything, even though in some angles, maybe in some ways it looks a little toy-esque, in others it looks like a statue with articulation. So, wow, really crazy. I think this is the biggest figure that I have as well, too. Really sweet. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. Leave your comments below. Which figure do you think is the best Sentinel figure Marvel Legends ever made? I got to go with the Haslab one as being like, really crazy. And if you can get one, I'd say get one. Awesome. And if not, that's okay. But maybe, I don't know, sell some other figures, save up at some point if you want to get one and do it that way. So that's it for this video, guys. We'll see you again soon for another. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.